Welcome back to the Facts Matrix. Today, we're delving into the life of Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt, a woman whose charm, intelligence, and ambition reshaped the ancient world. Cleopatra was born into a royal family that wasn't Egyptian at all. Her ancestors were Macedonian Greeks, descendants of Ptolemy I, one of Alexander the Great's generals. For nearly 3 centuries, her family ruled Egypt, but spoke Greek, worshipped Greek gods, and lived apart from the people they governed. But Cleopatra was different. She embraced Egypt, its language, its culture, and its people, in a way her ancestors never had. She was a true polyglot, speaking as many as 9 languages, including the native Egyptian tongue, which most of her family never bothered to learn. Beyond language, she was a true scholar queen, highly educated in mathematics, philosophy, astronomy, and politics. While her tutors trained her in science and statecraft, it was her own ambition that proved to be her greatest teacher. After her father, Ptolemy XIII, died, Cleopatra was left to rule alongside her younger brother, Ptolemy III, who was barely a teenager. The palace quickly became a nest of power struggles, tearing the family apart and forcing Cleopatra into exile. But this young queen was far too clever and determined to be defeated. When the Roman general Julius Caesar arrived in Egypt, she saw her chance to regain her throne. According to legend, Cleopatra arranged to be smuggled into Caesar's palace, rolled up in a carpet, or perhaps a bed sack. When it was unfurled before him, she stepped out with the unshakable confidence of a born ruler. Whether that dramatic entrance is literally true or not, the result was very real. She won Caesar's support, reclaimed her throne, and in doing so, changed the course of history. With Caesar's military might behind her, Cleopatra defeated her enemies and became Egypt's sole ruler. Their relationship blossomed, becoming both a powerful political alliance and a deeply personal romance. She bore him a son, Ptolemy XV. Caesar, better known to the world as Caesarion, or Little Caesar. It was the union of Egypt and Rome, made flesh and blood. When Cleopatra later visited Rome, she absolutely dazzled the city. Arriving in splendor, she took up residence in Caesar's villa and presented herself not just as a queen, but as the living goddess Isis. The Romans, however, were uneasy. They saw a foreign queen with immense influence over their leader. Her power and presence made her a symbol of both fascination and fear. Whispers filled the Senate. The Roman people grew to distrust her. After Caesar's shocking assassination in 44 BC, Cleopatra returned to Egypt, now a mother and a queen without her powerful Roman protector. Rome descended into chaos, but out of that chaos rose another great commander, Mark Antony. He summoned Cleopatra to meet him, and she responded with a display of unforgettable style. She arrived not on a simple ship, but in a magnificent golden barge, its sails of purple silk and oars of silver. Musicians played, and the air filled with the scent of rich perfumes. Antony was completely captivated. Cleopatra and Antony forged an alliance that was as passionate as it was political. Together, they ruled over a wealthy and powerful Egypt, raising their children, the twins Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, and their younger son Ptolemy Philadelphus, in royal splendor. But their powerful union made dangerous enemies back in Rome, especially in Caesar's ambitious heir, Octavian. Octavian launched a vicious propaganda campaign, accusing Antony of betraying Rome and painting Cleopatra as a manipulative foreign sorceress. The final straw came during the donations of Alexandria, when Antony granted vast lands to Cleopatra and her children. Rome exploded with outrage. War became inevitable. In 31 BC, their combined fleet faced Octavian's forces at the decisive Battle of Actium. Cleopatra's ships were powerful but found themselves trapped, surrounded by a sea of enemy sails. As the tide of battle turned against them, she made a daring decision. She broke through the enemy line and fled the battle, with Mark Antony following close behind. Their retreat saved their lives, but it doomed their cause. It wasn't long before Rome's legions were marching toward Egypt. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Facts Matrix. Your support helps us keep bringing history to life, one legend at a time. When Octavian's army finally reached the gates of Alexandria, Antony and Cleopatra's empire crumbled. A tragic miscommunication sealed their fate. Antony received a false report of Cleopatra's death, and in his grief, fell on his own sword, dying in her arms shortly afterward. Left alone, Cleopatra refused to suffer the humiliation of being paraded through the streets of Rome as a captive. She prepared herself with royal dignity, put on her crown, and decided to meet her end on her own terms. Tradition tells us she summoned a cobra, the sacred asp, and allowed its venomous strike to end her life. Other accounts suggest she used a poison hidden in a hairpin. The exact method remains uncertain, but her decision was deliberate. She would die as a queen, not live as a prisoner. Most people think Cleopatra's story ends with that fatal snake bite, but history had one more tragic chapter to write. Before her death, Cleopatra had sent her son Caesarion away, hoping to keep him safe. For a brief fleeting moment, he became the last pharaoh of Egypt. But Octavian, now the undisputed master of Rome, saw him as a living threat, the true son of Julius Caesar. Caesarion was captured and executed. As one of Octavian's advisors coldly remarked, "Too many Caesars is not good." With his death, the Ptolemaic dynasty officially ended, and Egypt became just another Roman province. Cleopatra's tomb has never been found. Some archaeologists believe it lies buried beneath the sands near Alexandria. Others think it may rest underwater, lost to the Mediterranean Sea. The search continues to this day, a quest to find the final resting place of Egypt's last pharaoh. Yet even without a tomb, her legend endures. Cleopatra remains one of history's most intelligent and captivating rulers, a queen who spoke 9 languages, a scholar of mathematics and philosophy, and a brilliant strategist who shaped the destinies of empires. She defied Rome, loved boldly, ruled wisely, and died on her own terms. This was Cleopatra VII Philopator, daughter of Ptolemy XIII, last queen of Egypt, and the woman who stood between two worlds, the fading glory of the pharaohs and the rising might of Rome. Thanks for watching the Facts Matrix. If you enjoyed this journey through history, leave us a comment below. Which part of Cleopatra's story surprised you the most? And remember, liking and subscribing helps us keep amazing content coming your way every day. Well, there you have it. Thanks once again for joining us on this journey into the life of Cleopatra. See you next time when the Facts Matrix brings you more facts about people, places, and beyond.